Global food and water shortage. This is an interesting and important topic because it is going to have an effect on all countries if there comes a flood or a water shortage, not just one. When an earthquake or a flood, it mostly just affects one country. We here in Denmark are just lucky that we have such good conditions, like clean groundwater and a geographical location where it happens to rain a lot, and give good surroundings for farmable lands to grow. We tend to forget about what is happening in other parts of the world, like in California, where drought have been for about 5 years and they are entering a water shortage, or that the world in a whole has lost 33% of its arable lands in the last 4 decades. We must act now. That it does not matter where we live. One country cannot fix this alone. We must act together. In the article, the world has lost 1/3 of its farmable lands in the last 4 decades. By Peter Dockrell, he says that erosion rates from plowed fields average 10 to 100 times greater than the rates of soil formation, which means that we use the soil much faster than the earth can produce it, which can give us some problems that our crops don't have the required minerals to grow. It also says that today's aggressive use of fertilizers are degrading soils all over the world. These problems are mostly because we are pressing the farmers to use cheaper and most bang for the buck solution. These solutions, just because they are cheap, does not mean that they are environmentally friendly. This may not be a huge problem right now, but it may be in 2050, where we are about 9 billion people on Earth. We cannot sustain that many people if we keep losing our farmable lands. Peter Dockrell presents a solution in his article where he says that we can go back to the pre-industrial methods that used to conserve the croplands before the advent of modern fertilizers. In the past, they put night soil out on the fields to close the nutrient loop, recycling the organic nitrogen and phosphorus in the night soil back into the soil. Night soil is human excrement, so basically he wants us to throw shit out on the fields. If it is what it takes to get us back running, I think we shall do it. I just have a problem with how. Maybe we could lead all the sewage pipes away from the wastewater treatment plants and in the direction of the farmers, who then spread it out in the fields. It's a simple way of doing it, but I see some obstacles. One, that it costs a big chunk of money to put up a new set of sewage systems, but you solve that by having trucks transporting it around. 2, that the excess nitrates and phosphorus runs straight down to the ground, ruining our grey water, or runs to our creeks and destroys life in them. 3, that it could seriously hurt the fertilizer industry. With this product which is mostly free, maybe they have to close factories and cut down on the work staff and create more unemployed citizens. But it may be a price we have to pay if we want to feed the world population. Another solution could be trying to cut down on food waste, because Europe has enough food to feed the whole world twice and still have some leftovers. We could also start searching for other ways to get food. For example, we could start to cultivate the sea bottoms, because some seaweed is actually eatable, but maybe that could have some effects on the sea life as well. In the article, Is Desalination the Solution? By Joe Chandler, it says that global usage of water has increased 6-fold in a century and will double again by 2050, according to an analysis. This against a backdrop of diminishing rainfall and vanishing mountain glaciers. We have to see that we have not unlimited water resources. our water is running out. And it also says in the article that it costs 10 times more to desalinate seawater than it takes the traditional treatment of surface water. But there are more than 13,000 desalination plants around the world, according to the International Desalination Association. The Global Intelligence estimates that the desalination market will grow 12% a year to 2015 and then accelerate. Desalination is long-established core technology in the Middle East, and within 4 years it will provide 80% of Israel's drinking water. Melbourne produces 450 gigaliters of new water in an average year by its roads and rooftops. They collect the stormwater. The rooftop of Melbourne produce several times more water than a desalination plant. One warehouse in eastern Melbourne produces 7 million liters in an average year. In any way, we have to do something. Either it is by using our existing roads and roofs and add some storm drains. We do that, we will not need water for a long time. Nevertheless, I see a problem. If we collect all the water for ourselves, we will be stopping the water cycle. There will not be as much water to go to the seas or creeks, and there will not be as much water to make rain or to go down to the groundwater. And that could damage our environment, but we could use it in some cases, but we cannot drink all the rainwater. It will bite us in the end. We could use it as a backup plan, like if the world's power grid burns down, we could still have clean water because our roofs will gather it for us. But in any other way, I can't see it a solution worldwide. Maybe in some cities where the water isn't even going down to the groundwater into the seas, they could use it. But I think it will bring the whole system out of balance. Desalination is another solution. It could work well in those areas where it doesn't rain a lot, like Israel, where a big part of the water will come from desalination in the coming years. But there is some problems with that as well. Where we will be put all the salt that were in the water. Maybe we could sell it, but then we will have a lot of salt on the market, who will press down the prices of salt because the government just wants to get rid of the salt that their plants produce, and we don't know if it hurts the marine life of the seas by taking out their water, but maybe that is a small price to pay. I think there are both pros and cons about both solutions, but we have to make a sacrifice if we want to have the life standards that we have. I think that they are right by saying that we have to do something. We can't just sit here and do nothing. I think that why we are not so motivated right now is because it may not be a huge problem right now, but it will. We have to accept that we do not have unlimited resources, and then we will start working our asses off. So, I mean that we have to get started. The sooner, the better.